What if I told you that you could own a piece of $1 trillion tech giant while sitting in your gaming chair, wearing the same hoodie you've worn for 3 days, and eating lukewarm ramen? Sounds like a dream, right? Or a cult. Actually, it's both. Welcome to the stock market, the world's most expensive, high stakes casino where the house has supercomputers. And you have a gut feeling and a TikTok influencer named Crypto Chad 69. But wait, before we dive headfirst into this burning dumpster fire of an economy, smash that like button so the algorithm gods don't categorize us as financial advice for losers. And if you want to learn how to lose money with style every week, subscribe. The system is going to screw us anyway. We might as well have a laugh while it happens. Ready? Good. Let's talk about Kevin's lemonade. Let's break this down so a golden retriever could understand it. Imagine your friend Kevin. Kevin is annoying, but he makes a decent lemonade. Kevin wants to scale. He doesn't just want to stand, he wants a global hydration ecosystem. He needs a $1,000 industrial squeezer. Kevin doesn't have a grand. So he comes to you and says, "Hey, give me $10. It's in exchange, I'll give you this piece of paper that says you own 1% of Kev Juice Corp. Congratulations, you are now a shareholder." You didn't squeeze a single lemon. You didn't deal with a single thirsty customer. You just sat there. This is the honeymoon phase. Kevin sells 10 cups, and suddenly everyone in the neighborhood wants a piece of the action. They see your paper and say, I'll give you $20 for that. Your wealth just doubled. You're a genius. You're basically Elon Musk minus the controversial tweets. You start looking at Lamborghinis on Pinterest. This is what we call stonks. It's the belief that numbers only go up because of innovation and synergy, and other words that mean absolutely nothing. When Kevin's lemonade stand gets big enough, he goes for an IPO. That's an initial public offering. This is basically prom night for companies. They put on a shiny dress, hire expensive bankers to tell everyone how pretty they are, and invite the whole world to buy their shares. At this point, the company isn't even about lemonade anymore. It's about the narrative. We aren't a lemonade stand. We're a data-driven citrus platform. We use AI to predict when people are thirsty. Our lemons are blockchain verified. Wall Street loves this. The suits, so those guys who look like they were born in a Patagonia vest, start buying millions of shares. The price goes to the moon. You feel like a god. You tell your parents to stop investing in boring things like real estate or food. You're all in on Kev Juice. Pro tip. In the stock market, value is just a collective hallucination. If enough people believe a rock is worth $1 million, it is, until it isn't. But then the vibes shift. Maybe Kevin gets caught putting tap water in the organic lemonade. Maybe a giant lemon-eating caterpillar invades the country. Or maybe, just maybe, people realize that a lemonade stand shouldn't be worth more than the GDP of Switzerland. Suddenly the smart money, the guys with the faster computers and the inside info, start selling. The price drops from $100 to 80. You tell yourself, it's just a dip. Buy the dip, diamond hands. Diamond hands is internet slang for, I am watching my life savings evaporate, but I'm too proud to admit I'm wrong. You're holding that piece of paper so tight your knuckles are white, while the suits are already out the back door with their profits. Why did the price drop? Because the stock market isn't a factory, it's a mood ring. It doesn't measure how good the lemonade is, it measures how scared or greedy people are feeling at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. Now let's talk about the real final boss of the stock market, short selling. This is the most cynical thing humans have ever invented. It's betting that Kevin will fail. Imagine you see Kevin's stand is falling apart. You go to a neighbor who owns a share of Kev Juice and say, "Can I borrow that? I'll give it back next week." The neighbor says, "Sure." 1, you immediately sell that borrowed share for $80. 2, you wait for Kevin to cry and go bankrupt. 3, once the company crashes and the share is worth $1, you buy it back. 4, you give the share back to the neighbor and keep the $79 profit. You literally made money by cheering for a disaster. Wall Street calls this providing liquidity. The rest of us call it supervillain energy. Here's the part where you should get a little bit salty. When you lose your money because you bought a top 10 stocks to buy now list from a guy on YouTube, the world tells you to touch grass and cope harder. You're just a retail loser who didn't do their due diligence. But when the big banks and the hedge funds mess up, when they bet the entire global economy on magic beans and lose, suddenly it's a national emergency. Suddenly they're too big to fail. The government steps in with a bailout. Where does that money come from? Your taxes. It's the ultimate trust me bro move. They keep the billions they make during the good times, but when the bubble pops, they pass the bill to the guy eating the Tupperware ramen. It's a VIP club. where you're the guy paying for the drinks, but you aren't allowed to sit at the table. To justify this absolute madness, people turn to something called technical analysis. It's basically where people spend their entire day drawing colorful lines on charts like they're in a kindergarten art class. Look, it's forming a double bottom reverse cup and handle inverted toaster pattern. That means it's going to the moon. Trust me, bro. No, it doesn't. It's literally astrology for people who wear Allbirds and carry $10 lattes. You're honestly trying to predict the future of human greed and panic using a squiggly line graph? You might as well be reading soggy tea leaves or checking if Jupiter's in retrograde. Think about it. If these charts actually worked, every single math teacher in the world would be chilling on a private island with a fleet of yachts, instead of explaining the slope of... Remember 2008? That was the ultimate oopsie daisy of human history. The smart guys in the suits decided to take a bunch of bad lemonade stands, you know, the ones with no lemons and a broken sign, and bundle them all together. They slapped a shiny gold sticker on the box, labeled them gold tier lemonade sweets, and sold them as the safest thing since sliced bread. And guess what? Everyone bought in. They were throwing money at these boxes like it was a Black Friday sale. But then the vibe check happened. The world opened the boxes and realized the lemons were actually made of cheap, toxic plastic. The entire global economy did a backflip into a literal trash can. Millions of people lost their homes, their jobs, and their dignity. And the people who caused it, they didn't go to jail. Oh no, they got bonuses. Why? Because in the world of high finance, failure is just a different kind of success if you have enough lawyers to explain why it wasn't your fault. So what have we learned today? 1. The stock market is a giant game of hot potato played with digital fire. 2. A stock's price has more to do with vibes than value. And 3. The system is rigged, but it's the only game in town, so we keep playing. Will you stop? Probably not. You'll see a tweet tomorrow about a company that makes AI-powered, vegan, carbon-neutral shoelaces, and you'll think, this is it. This is my ticket to the 1%. Just remember, for every person who makes it to the moon, there are 10,000 people whose rockets exploded on the launch pad, while the billionaire who sold them the fuel watched from his yacht. Investment is basically just organized hope. Now, do yourself a favor. Turn off the screen, put down the stonks memes, and for the love of everything holy, go touch some grass